Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this Monday morning, starting off a new week, and it's the last day of March. Tomorrow will be April 1st. We'll be starting to springtime really be kicking in. High today is going to be 72 and low will be 53. Right now the water temperature is around 63 or 64 degrees, so it's moving. It really took a dip last week during that cold front. Let's go ahead and take a look at our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. Okay, I'm sorry. First, let's look at our moon phase. Let's look at our moon phase and get it out of the way. On Monday we like to do it. You see, the last day of March we're not doing. We're not having anything but a new moon as of tonight will be the new moon, and it'll be waxing starting this week, and we'll get you the April's moon chart next Monday. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery, and their motto is "When Caring Counts." We're looking at the chart today. We're looking at high tide at 10:07 a.m. and a low tide at 7:02 p.m. And it's got a good falling tide this afternoon, sort of swapping around on us. Okay, it's been coming in late in the afternoon. Now it's going to start dropping out. I got an email while I'm on tide chart. Let me read this, Mr. Chester. I am from Carabel. My tide chart is different than the one you use on the show. I received mine from Noah. Where do you get your tide chart from? And that's from Jack Weiss, Ruth Ann Weiss, and I wrote them back. I get this tide chart from. I'll show it to you right here. It comes from C&G Sporting Goods, and they have a packet for the whole year, January through December, and I really like it because it's sort of a visual. I mean, you can read times and all that, but you can sort of see how much the tide is moving, and you can see the flow and all. And of course, there are apps on the phone and all that, but I've just always found this easy to start the morning off, to look at it, and then I know what's going on all day. Okay, so C&G Sporting Goods, I think that whole package is like, I don't know, it's less than $15 for 12 months worth of those. So keep them on the refrigerator and all. I find it really useful. Okay, but Spot is sponsored, of course, by Kent Forest Lawn. Let's go and do our fish and game forecast of this period. They brought it to us by Mark Cowart. And looking at our times this morning was 1:09. Our time was 1:09 to 3:09 this morning, and this afternoon 1:35 to 3:35. We've been getting some good lunch times, and right after lunch it's going to move up a little bit. So this week, some afternoon fishing is going to be really good. You see where our tide's going to be moving out. Okay? Let's go ahead and take our break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Let's start off in this section on some pictures we have, and we have a good variety again. I'm going to start off on one I showed last Friday, but I didn't get the guy's name right, so I'm going to show him again. This is from Inlet Beach. Okay, this is Randy Mark, a 16-inch pompano. So there you go. A good way to start. I know they had a good meal that night. All right, now let me get back to where we want to start from. We're going to start right here on this this is Saturday. A good mess of fish here. This is Steve Roberson. You can see the sheephead and the Spanish, and there are people sitting there in one spot catching sheephead and Spanish coming through the pass right there around the jetties. Okay, cute picture here. Joseph A. Turner, her first Spanish. Okay. This is good. I'm gonna go back. I've got to find a brother in here. He's gonna be. Let's see where I put her brother. He was excited about it too. I've got him right here. Let's see. All right, this is her brother. All right, let's find him. All right, now he wasn't gonna be outdone. Okay. There you go, right there. Good job there, Josie and her brother. Now I'm gonna go back. I had these a little bit out of order. That's why I'm sort of bouncing around. But now this is one of my favorite pictures. This is Grandpa showing them how to clean the Spanish. Ralph and Lucretia Turner, grandchildren. Thank you all for sharing. They go to their ages 9 and 7 to go to Deer Point Elementary School. All right. Let me see now. I think I can get them. I got them in order now. I was going to tell you during spring break I was able to go up to Dothan, Alabama, and I was on a guest on WDHN on the Charlie Platt show. I was going to give you a picture. That's his set right there. He comes on every morning. He does an hour and a half a show up there. It's amazing. He spends all that, but it went by really fast. Really nice guy, and got a lot of interest in the book. We talked about the book, Full Box, and the book sells well up there in South Alabama because some of those folks would come down here and really fish and all. All right, here are some of my students. Okay, this is Dave on the left. They sent this to me during spring break. David Quatch is on the left. Austin Gibbons is in the center. And Andy Rodriguez is on the side there. And they had a good afternoon catching Spanish during spring break. Here's a couple of pictures of them doing their David pole bending. Now, I'm going to show these to class today, and their classmates going to get a kick out of them. There's Andy. These are really nice young men, really good kids in class, and just enjoy doing it. I'm so glad to see them get out during spring break and do something like this instead of like a lot of those other people get out on the beach and act a fool. All right. Here's a familiar face we see on here a lot, okay? Michael Coward. He and his dad, Mark, went up Logan Martin Lake during spring break, up right outside of Birmingham, and caught some nice stripers and bass. Good job there, Mark. Now, you know right there, that crappie, that was some good eating right there. I've never fished that lake up there outside of Birmingham. They got kinfolks and all up there, and was able to take a good little fishing trip during spring break. I know they had a good supper that night. Okay, there's little Mr. Turner there. We're going past him. I got this nice email. This is from Donnie Kipper. I'll read his email. It says, "Hey, Mr. Chester, really enjoy your show. I work here in Panama City, and I am relocating from Satsuma, Alabama. Roll Tide," he said. "Your show and guests have really helped me get ready and excited for the upcoming inshore fishing season. I'm a kayak fisherman and went on my first trip today in Grand Lagoon. I caught and released this 26-inch redfish, 15 minutes into the trip in 3 feet of water on a white spinnerbait. And the water temperature today was 65 degrees. Thanks again for the show. Example yourself for young people." This is Donald Kipper from Satsuma, Alabama. Okay. Next picture. Minta Sandlin's kids and their friend from down in the cove. They go fish. This is their first fish in the spring, and you can see they caught a mess of fish. Thanks, Minta Sandlin Harbison, for sending me that picture. Okay. All right, now we'll talk about that Gulf Power tournament later. So anyway, keep in mind now, snapper season getting ready to open up tomorrow in Franklin County, Taylor County, Dixie County, and the other county was Jefferson. Jefferson just got a little slice of land right there on it. But those 4 counties, we're going to talk more about it, but they're getting excited down there. We're going to come back to it. Now, people talking about catching, I show a lot of pictures of St. Andrew Pass of catching those sheephead and the Spanish and all. Keep in mind, in our viewing area, we have several passes that will do the same thing, and they are doing the same thing this past weekend, St. George Island. That Bob Sykes cut that cuts through from regular St. George and Little St. George, that cut right there has a lot of redfish and the sheephead. They'll spawn right there, just like they do here. And also over at Destin Pass, you can catch some sheephead going out of there on those edges there, and there's some jetties there. So you got all of these 3 passes right here in our viewing area to catch Spanish and really catch a sheephead. And the sheephead is going to start winding down now. They're still catching them, but they're going to start winding down. Spanish will be with us a little bit longer. So I know the weather was bad last week for a lot of folks, but it's going to look like it might have a little bit of rain during the middle of the week, but then it looks like it's going to pick up really nice weather toward the weekend, hopefully. All right, let's take this break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Let's first talk about we got a fishing tournament coming up and put on by a great group of guys over here at Gulf Power, the 2014 Gulf Power Transformers Charity Redfish and Trout Tournament. Now, it's a little bit of time away. It's going to be way down on May 24th, but go ahead. If you like me, I like to put these things on my calendar so I don't schedule anything else around them. And it's going to be at an interesting place, the McCall Everett Ramp, and that is a ramp, okay, up there by the Deer Point Dam on the saltwater side. And I was thinking, what a unique place, because there's a lot of room up there. There's a park there, a nice park, and plenty of room for parking really on both sides of the road. This is a good place to have a tournament. I really like this location. The entry fee, of course, you can see the rest, Big Slam and all. And the 2 boys on the left there's Chris Bright, and on the right is Shane Raffield. Now, does that name ring a bell, a Raffield name? Shane was in my class several years back and helped him put on this tournament. Nice young man, and Chris is too. And they're going to donate this to charity, different charities and all. I'll give you the list of the charities coming up soon. But I really proud of those guys putting on, all those guys at Gulf Power. I fished with some of those boys from Gulf Power, and they love outdoors, love to hunt and fish, and I really enjoy them. Now, let's go to the next item I want to talk. I've been wanting to talk about it for a little bit of time. A lot of time run out of time. But let me go and mention this. First of all, I want to preface it by saying all of you know what a pro-military guy I am. I didn't serve, but I, a lot of my family and my neighbors, my friends, and I've just always believed in it. It's gone through our family for generations, and I've always been pro-military. I love the things to do at Tyndall and all. But Eglin Air Force Base, I understand, are trying to move their training operations over to Tate's Hell. I'm gonna go ahead and flat out say it. I'm totally against that, and I just don't. And I'll tell you why. That Tate's Hell area is such a pristine, protected area, and they've been training all these special forces, and I love them. And they've been training in Eglin. I was thinking we've gone through World War II, Korean War, the Vietnam War, and all the conflicts since then, and doing our training right there in the Eglin Air Force Base, and it's been fine. And why they want to go over to Tate's Hell is beyond me. And you know what's going to happen. The big trucks, the tanks, and the helicopters knocking trees, all kind of stuff. It's just I'm against it, and I don't think they need to train there. I love them training at Eglin. They're set up for Eglin. I've been over there. They've got some great training areas, and why they want to do it, but they've sort of eased their way into it, and I don't know if we can do anything about it. But I'm against it. I know some of the locals are. I know also, keep in mind that we'll talk more about it, because keep in mind that you got to be careful when they're around and all. You don't know what's going to happen, the gunshots and all stuff like that. So anyway, I just want to go and preface that by saying that. Speaking of that area, I was during spring break. Jeff and I was able to run down to Carabel, the Sea Quarters Marina, and got to visit with Millard. The big situation now, we have the red snapper, like I just said, is opening up. Groupers opening up over here right next door to us and on the eastern end. So be aware of that. A lot of folks going to be fishing red snapper and grouper. So we did a little interview with Millard while we were down there. So here's the interview, okay? All right, folks, they're one of my favorite places in Carabel, Sea Quarters Marina. One of my good friends, Millard.
Winston, good to have you all over.
It's great coming down here. One of my, like I say, seriously, one of my favorite places. Now, we usually coming down here in summertime and all, talking about it, tournament and all that. But now it's early spring. Just want to run down here and check on you and see what's going on down this neck of the woods.
Well, we've survived the winter. It's been a long winter, cold winter, and we had a lot of transits which helped us out get over the winter time. But
you had a lot of loopers.
Yeah, the loopers. They make the big loop in 2 weeks. Fishing season starts. Looking forward to that. There's a lot of fish out there. Spanish moved in the last 2 days on the reef.
Yeah.
A lot of flounder being caught. Spanish mackerel, thick.
Well, I know. We're talking about getting offshore and all these red snapper and grouper. This is. I fish a lot of places, and this place down here just has a bunch of them.
Don't tell nobody.
All right,
that's why they call it Forgotten Coast here. But it is good fishing here.
It really is.
It's close. You don't have to run that far, 8 or 10 miles.
I know it, and then a lot of times the bycatch, the flounder around the flounder. You were saying they've been catching some big flounder.
They have been catching big flounder. They spawn on pieces of wreck, hard bottom this time of the year. Bull minnows, even they catch them with jigs.
Yeah. What about, I know not too far from here, some of these sports guys get out and do some tarpon fishing around this area.
Well, it's over with right now, but they did catch some down by the FSU lab on Alligator Reef Harbor, down in there.
And we right here on where the Carabel River, it's getting wider and all, but the bridge is right up here, but the red fishing and the speckled trout fishing.
Fishing has been good.
Yeah.
And then once we got all the rain, all the fresh water, they moved out. But,
well, they'll be back.
A couple of days, they'll be back. Yeah.
What's about the best bait? You're doing inshore fishing, they trying to catch some redfish or trout. What does everybody like to use?
Bull minnows. That's one of the favorite baits. Even the gut with the jig on it.
Okay.
A lot of people using the top water mirror lures.
In a particular color, or just a whole variety of colors?
If they're feeding, they're going to hit anything.
Yeah.
Well, there are people got their favorite lure.
Let me ask you this. If somebody wants to come down here, say from Panama City or the Funiac Springs and Mariana, drive down here and don't know the area at all, are you willing to You willing to show them up where to go in the river around Dog Island? And
I got the hotspot maps, charts, and they are good and accurate. People fish them, and they're good. We got all the reefs, artificial reefs. We got the towers that we get handouts. We give to people. They can catch fish. They come down.
Yeah. I just want to, encourage people to come down here, and it's just a unique place, and it's just full of fish.
It is. It's good fishing. We've got a lot of Bay Area here. Even the wind blowing, Dog Island and St. George Island knocks a lot of the wind off.
Yeah.
And the oyster bars, the small creeks that come out. It's good.
All right. All right, y'all come see Miller at Sea Quarters.
Thanks, Winston. Don't forget our Kingfish tournament.
We're going to talk about that soon.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right, welcome back. Thank you, Millard. I know tomorrow everybody's going to be jumping around this time, getting ready to go. Let's go a couple of announcements real quick. That was the eastern end. Let's go to western end over here, the E.O. Wilson Biophilia Center. We try to keep up with things they do because there's a lot of neat things. Their Earth Day is going to be this Saturday, April 5th. So check out their website and all, and to come back and let them get a chance to go to it. Okay. Now on these other things here, let's check out one more. We got one more tournament. If you have a tournament or anything, want us to talk about it, we'll be glad to just send it to us on email to Winston Chester 5, and Jeff posts that a lot. But this one right here, this was the Ling Ding down at Mexico Beach. They didn't send me any information. I just happened to ride by and see the poster at Blue Water, so we're going to talk about it. The big Ling Ding. They do it like 3 weekends, okay? But this weekend starts it off, then following the next 3 weekends. And the captain's meeting will be this Thursday, all right? Now I want to go ahead and try to finish. We had talked about the top surf fishing spots here, and I'm going to try to find them. Here they are, right here. The top 10 surf fishing spots. Remember, I didn't get to finish last week around the time, so I'm going to go ahead and try to finish. I was on number 7, I believe, and number 7. Let's throw number 7 up. Top 10 surf fishing spots in the Florida Panhandle, according to Winston Chester, and I fished these spots, and they're great. We're going to pick up on this one right here. We were talking about Camp Helen State Park, and that old pier has been there since the 50s, and it's been through a lot of storms, and some of the piling's still left, and there's some great fishing there. If you got a little bit of a walk now, but if you can get out there and spend some time, you're going to have some good luck there. Okay, moving on down on the westward motion, this is Grayton Beach State Park. We have camped there and fished there with good luck. I used to enjoy camping there, and it's a nice place, sort of isolated. It's not as isolated as it once was before 30A and Seaside and all those came in, but it's still a nice sort of like an island of tranquility there among all the madness on both sides of you. But there's some good fishing right there, folks, I promise you. Topsail Hill Preserve State Park. This is a good one here because I was able to, that's just a good fishing. It's a beautiful place, too. Big old sand dune and all. Get a chance to just go there and do some sightseeing. And then the last one is Henderson Beach, and that's right there in the middle of the shopping. That's a little state park. It's surrounded by a lot of folks and all, but again, good fishing right there, okay? And now I'm going to go, let me show you the map of actually all 10 of them. They're little red dots here. Starting now on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, I don't have St. George Island number 1, but number 2 was Indian Pass. Okay, number 3 is the Stump Hole. 4 is St. Joe State Park. 5 is Mexico Beach. 6. Now, when I say Mexico Beach, the Tyndall Beach is right next to it, so I didn't add that in it. But that's a good place also. That Tyndall Beach, just as you're going outside of Tyndall. Number 6, St. Andrews State Park. 7, of course, Camp Helen. 8 is Grayton Beach. And 9 is Topsail Hill, and 10 is Henderson Beach. And those are just some really good places. I mean, you could next 10 weekends you could go to 10 different beautiful places and fish there. Let me do mention this: at a Stump Hole, it's undergoing some construction still, and they're actually in phase 6 of a 7-phase project at the Stump Hole. So it's sort of, the water might be a little bit muddy and all, but it might have to move around according to which way that tide's is swinging in and out. So be aware of that. And speaking of that, I got this fishing report right here from Mitch Coleman. Let me go ahead and read it. It's Mexico Beach. He said water temperature is 65 to 66. The Spanish bite is good. The Spanish bite is good throughout the Panhandle right now. That's good. Now down there from the jetties to the pier and along the Tyndall side of the beach toward Crooked Island, okay? So that's a good place to go right there. Trolling along the second sandbar is also productive using spoons or micro tree troll with a half ounce weight. And whiting are still active along the beaches and in the canal. No pompano reports yet. And that's I was going to mention that during my spring break, I really got tied up doing some things that took longer than I thought. I did not get a pompano fish. I did go down the beach one morning and just for a brief period of time and some nice whiting and it was just didn't work out. But I just the pompano weren't quite in down there. They come in down there almost toward the end of March. Really, it's the first week or two of April. And Scott Lindsay wrote about it too in his article. It's just not quite ready for the big wave of pompanos. And they're out there. Some of them are out there in deep water, like 8 foot. I talked to Brent down in Blue Water. He said the guys had caught some in 8 foot of water out there. So keep in mind that the pompano pictures I'm showing, these are like little isolated shots. But that big wave has not come through. And a lot of people sometimes get frustrated and impatient. I had calls. And by the way, if you call me and I don't return your call me again. I get a lot of emails and phone calls, and I try to return 100% of them. And sometimes I know I get some of them may fall through the cracks. So don't feel like I ignored or something. Sometimes there's a lot of them on there, I just missed it. So please call me back or email me back if I haven't responded to your email and all. Okay, now we're going to wrap things up. I have tomorrow I have a guest coming on. Then the next couple of days we have some good guests and all. So meanwhile, if you're planning your weekend, and I like to sort of plan ahead on my calendar, I think this weekend is going to really be some really good fishing. We'll talk about the river tomorrow and see what's happening there. It should be getting good soon. It should be going down, and we'll just see how this last rain over the weekend is going to affect it and all. But fishing should be really kicking off good. Okay, so go ahead and make sure your boat's running. Make sure you got your life jackets, your gas. Make sure you got new gas in that motor. All those little things that we just have to do as outdoorsmen. Okay, we're going to wrap it up. I appreciate all the feedback we get, the emails and the calls, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate you watching Panhandle Outdoors. We try to do the best we can to bring you the very best in the outdoors in the Florida Panhandle. Thank you. You have a great day and do something good for somebody today. God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.